What happened, Richie?
Well, we had a tough first round, and in order to make it, we had to really lean on the motor and put a hole in one of the pistons.
The Ewell brothers Chevrolet in the near lane. Mark Ewell driving, Bob Glidden. And a red light start for Ewell. He knew he had to take a shot against the low qualifier. Bob Glidden with his new Ford Fairmont. And it's Glidden with the win, 8.60 seconds at 154 miles an hour. A red light for Ewell. An instant replay, he really left early before Glidden ever moved. The U.S. Nationals is more than a drag race, and Steve Evans tells us why.
David, if you never saw a race here today, you can have a ball just eating. It's a county fair variety of foods. Polar sausage, Italian sausage, breaded beef tenderloin, fresh lemonade, pickles, you name it. For me, I'm going to help train a nurse with an ear of roasted corn here. I'll take that one right over there. Eat your heart out, McClellan. Enjoy your box lunch. That one would be just fine. Do we really help train a nurse doing this?
You darn right we do. We've got 7 nurses in training now.
Well, that's good. Bring them on.
Steve, while you're enjoying that gourmet Indiana corn, we're getting ready for semifinal racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park and the U.S. Nationals. Back at the U.S. Nationals, the semifinal round of funny car eliminator. A pair of Californians, Little John Lombardo, hailing from North Hollywood, recording one of the quickest elapsed times of his career, 6.08 seconds in the previous round, and he'll need every bit of it as he races Don Prudhomme, the defending champion and 3-time world champion, equaling the national record for funny cars just a few rounds earlier at 5.97 seconds. Lombardo best known for his exploits on the West Coast, running very hard here at the U.S. Nationals. Both cars coming into the electronic staging beam, and John Lombardo up in smoke. Prudhomme once again straight and true. His elapsed time, 6.05. Mr. Consistency, a 5.97, a 6.04, and now a 6.05, putting Prudhomme into the finals. He will be racing Tom the Mongoose McEwen. The classic snake versus mongoose battle once again. McEwen getting an easy run here, a single, as his competition, Ron Colson, crossing the center line in the previous round of competition. McEwen shutting it off early, obviously just testing the starting line. Didn't want to hurt any parts at a 7.12 elapsed time. That's how long it took him to travel that quarter-mile distance from a standing start. His crew heading down to pick him up. As he gets out of his car, here's Steve Evans.
McEwen crawling out of his car, he said, I hope maybe Prudhomme would run over the center line and I wouldn't have to race anybody. Boy, that was a tough victory there, this last one.
They're all tough for me, the way I drive.
Were you worried a little bit about maybe crossing the center line like Colson did? That'd go through your head?
Yeah, I thought about it coming up, but this car is pretty good about that, going pretty straight. And I wanted to run the opposite lane, figuring that's where I was going to be anyway. And Lombardo, of course, just smoked the tires and everything in it. So we went up, and I only ran it halfway down the track because I tried something a little different that time, and it seems like it worked pretty good.
Pro Stock Eliminator Bob Glidden, the Ford Fairmont, winner of 4 national titles thus far in 1978, against the Chevrolet Monza of Iaconio and Allen. Frankie Iaconio doing the driving, Ray Allen, his partner, from Totowa, New Jersey. Out of Whiteland, Indiana, comes Bob Glidden. Leaving the line together. But Glidden pulling ahead to a big win. Glidden 8.60, low elapsed time thus far for the Pro Stocks at 153 miles an hour. The next pair on the line, 2 Chevrolets. Lee Shepard in the far lane, Joe Satmary in the near lane. Texas versus Indiana, a close race. And at the finish line, it's Joe Satmary. 8.74 seconds elapsed time, a quicker time for Shepard at 8.72, but Satmary off the mark just a little bit quicker. At the finish line, just a couple of feet. Top Fuel Eliminator semifinal, Jeb Allen. Allen running in the near lane. We've seen the funny cars. Both of them smoked the tires badly in the left lane. Could be that the lane is going away ever so slightly. Rob Bruins, the competition for Jeb Allen. And Jeb Allen smokes the tires. Rob Bruins with an easy win. He doesn't backpedal it though. 5.96 seconds elapsed time. speed of 242 miles an hour. Jeb Allen giving it a valiant try after smoking the tires to a 6:27. You see the smoke on the starting line, but at the finish line, it's Rob Bruins there first.
Maybe a little too much power, Jim?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we thought the reason that everybody ran better in the right lane because it wasn't as good as the left is what my theory was, you know. When I got in the left lane, I'd run an 89 in the right. When I got in the left lane, the car shook. So I figured that's more traction because I was making the same power. So I just put a little bit more power in it and made a mistake.
Larry Minor's car driven by Larry Dixon. The unenviable honor of running against Big Daddy Don Garland. Dixon won the Winter Nationals back in 1970. This is the furthest he's gone in competition since that time. Don Garland has already won 4 U.S. Nationals titles, a total of 17 Top Fuel titles during his 2-decade-long career. And Dixon smokes the tires. So the left lane obviously not as good as the right at this moment. Garland's there first at 6.01 seconds. His speed 240 miles an hour. So in the finals of Top Fuel, it'll be Rob Bruins against Don Garland. Down in the pits right now at Don Prudhomme's car, the crew working feverishly to prepare it for the finals. Don Prudhomme is nowhere to be seen. He's in Tom McEwen's pits with Steve Evans.
He won't split the money with you.
He don't want to split the money. He's over here. He said he hasn't won a national event in about 48 hours. He's kind of down.
It should be a good race. You know, we've met many times this year, and you know, fortunately we've came out okay, but you never know. The cars can be turned. You know, Tom's liable to jump up and put us away, but we're going to be trying very hard, and I know he's going to be, so it'll be a tremendous last round.
Your guys are frantically working on the motor, yet you're over here fooling around with him.
Well, it's just going back together right now. We got plenty of time, and I'm just starting to take a little easier instead of thrashing so much on the thing. I've been watching him, and it seems to work.
See, his biggest problem is he's not as serious a racer as I am.
The Snake and the Mongoose at it once again. We'll be back with the Nationals finals in just a moment. The crew members for Don Garland's getting his engine ready for the final round. Replacing the pistons in the engine, the crowd jamming in close, watching the frantic action. But it's a different story over in Rob Bruins' pit area as we join Steve Evans.
I see you working on the supercharger here. A little hop up?
No, actually, we haven't had the motor apart all day, and on the last run, it got loose a little bit out on the track, and it kind of overworked what we thought overworked the piston, so we wanted to look at it. We got the same 8 in it we've had all week, and all 8 are back in it.
The final of Pro Stock Eliminator, Bob Glidden and the Ford. In the far lane, the Chevrolet of Joe Satmary. Satmary from Maryville, Indiana, has his work cut out for him. Glidden has been in the finals of 11 straight national events. He has won 17 national titles. Glidden, debuting a new Ford Fairmont in the middle part of this season, has absolutely dominated pro stock racing since that time. The burnout's completed, approaching the starting line. Glidden in the Ford, Satmary in the Chevrolet. A lot of RPM, and they leave the line together. Glidden pulling an early lead. At the middle of the course, he extends it, and it is Bob Glidden winning the race. 8.61 seconds elapsed time, a speed of 146 miles an hour, indicating he shut it off early, backed out of it as he approached the finish line. Funny car eliminator, final race. Tom the Mongoose McEwen against his longtime friend and nemesis, Don the Snake Prudhomme. Prudhomme wrapping up another World Championship title. That makes it 4 in a row. But the race is on the line for the National Championship in Funny Car. Prudhomme in the far lane. That has been the better lane in racing thus far later this afternoon. In the near lane, Tom McEwen. And they're off the line. And Prudhomme smokes the tires. McEwen pulling ahead. And it is Tom McEwen with the upset of the race. The crew just going berserk. Tom McEwen's crew members very, very happy as Tom himself winning it for the first time. These two cars have met 4 times before in the final rounds, and this is the first time that McEwen has won it, and an all-important race for him. For just 1 week ago, Tom's 14-year-old son passed away from leukemia. A great drag racing fan, and he liked nothing better than to see his dad, Tom McEwen, run against Don the Snake Prudhomme. And this time, it was McEwen prevailing. Here is Don Prudhomme going over to congratulate his longtime friend, Tom McEwen. Let's go down to the area and join Steve Evans.
A very emotional moment down here. I've seen Don Prudhomme lose before, and it's usually a recluse. He gets in his truck, he leaves the racetrack immediately, talks to nobody. This is just a little bit different. As many times as I've been here, I have seen few moments packed with as much emotion as this one.
Tom McEwen, the winner of Funny Car, getting out of his Corvette. A tribute to McEwen and the Perseverance as he defeated Don Prudhomme for the Funny Car title at the U.S. Nationals. Top Fuel Eliminator, the national championship on the line. This man has 4 national championships to his credit, Big Daddy Don Garlits. His competition, Rob Bruins from Federal Way, Washington, driving for Gaines Markley. Bruins has been here before. He was runner-up at the Nationals in 1974, but as he got his work cut out for him today, Big Daddy Don Garlits has already won 17 national events throughout his long 20-year career. The face mask goes down, the concentration begins on that Christmas tree. Both drivers intently looking at the electronic starting device. The 2,000 horsepower engine sounding clean and crisp, and they leave the line together. Bruins and Garlits side by side, and it's Don Garlits winning the national title. 5.90 seconds at 241 miles an hour, just a tenth of a second behind at 6 seconds flat. At the same speed, 241 miles an hour, was Rob Bruins. So Big Daddy Don Garlits, the national champion for the 5th time. In instant replay, you see they leave the starting line side by side. Bruins beginning to drift just a little bit as Garlits holds his car straight. And at the finish line, less than a car length. Here's Steve.
Big Daddy Don Garlits, his 5th U.S. Nationals title, and maybe your toughest.
It was a tough one, Steve. The competition has just gotten fantastic. It's probably the best drag race that I've ever witnessed.
Your motor seemed to be in intensive care before going into the final round, yet Bruins was unhurt.
Yeah, we've had a lot of problems with pistons in the engine trying to keep it the fuel curve right, and I just can't seem to get it like I'd like it. You know, I don't like to work on my engine, but when you got to run 580s, what can you say?
And all that work paid off for Big Daddy Don Garlits as he won his 5th national championship. In Funny Car Eliminator, Tom McEwen upsetting Don Prudhomme. And in Pro Stock, Bob Glidden continuing his march through the ranks. Steve and I will be back with some final observations in just a moment. The 24th Annual U.S. Nationals, an absolutely incredible auto race. For his closing observations, let's join Steve Evans.
David, the 6 days that is, the U.S. Nationals has finally come to a close, but strangely enough, nobody seems to be leaving. I don't think they've recovered from the emotion that we witnessed, especially in these final rounds. Don Garlits clawing his way through an incredible top fuel field over a smiling young guy, Rob Bruins, who has no regrets about losing that final round. Bob Glidden again proving his supremacy. The first ever pro-comp victory by a blown small block Chevrolet. But to me, the grand moment is Don Prudhomme and Tom McEwen. Their light, witty chatter before the final, an emotion-packed scene at the finish line as Tom McEwen wins his first ever U.S. Nationals, and he didn't back into it. A sizzling 6.05. I enjoyed it tremendously, like some 100,000 other folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Don Garlits said it, the greatest drag race he's ever seen, and I, for one, have to agree. From Indianapolis Raceway Park, I'm Dave McClellan. So long for now. The U.S. Nationals has been brought to you by English Leather, toiletries for men. Ask for English Leather at fine toiletry counters everywhere. Promotional consideration received and a fee paid by Whammo. Trackball, it's a whole new ball game by Whammo. And by Royce CB, currently giving a factory rebate of up to $20 on any of a dozen CBs at your local dealer. Royce CB, because someday you may need all the CB you can get. Consideration given and a fee also paid by Shakey's Pizza.
Shakey's Pizza Keeper.
It's still hot.
Hot, fresh pizza from Shakey's.
Take one home.
The executive producer of Diamond P Sports, Harvey Palish. Produced and directed by John B. Mullen. Coverage of the 24th Annual US Nationals was a Diamond P Sports presentation.